Star Wars 7 by 7 episode 2237. A very long time ago in a podcast episode far, far away, we did a series of episodes about the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, and I thought while we are waiting for news, I thought it might be fun to revisit that series and finish the cycle for the sequel trilogy. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7 by 7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy. And thank you so much for joining me for it. So one of the things that I did in the early days of Star Wars 7 by 7 is kind of establish the, thinking that I had done about the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. And one of the ways that I did that was by doing a series about the winners and losers of various movies. In other words, characters whose fortunes were improved either by actions that they took or by actions taken for or against them or just random luck. And the same thing with losers, people whose fortunes went south for whatever reason. And so I did a series for the winners of each movie and the losers of each movie. And so today we are going to explore the top 7 winners from The Force Awakens. So we'll start with number 7, and that is Poe Dameron. So Poe starts out with the most important job of his life for the Resistance, and unfortunately that goes south on him. But everything pretty much turns up roses for him from that point on, right? I mean, yeah, he's broken out just by sheer force of luck. He is broken out by a stormtrooper. Isn't that great? Crash lands, that obviously isn't a good thing, but magically somehow he is able to survive the crash and make it back to the Resistance base while all other events are happening in the movie. So we think he's dead and gone. Turns out, nope, just another fun day in the life of Poe Dameron, crazy starship pilot. And he's also able to fire the crucial shots that destroy the thermal oscillator, leading to the destruction of Starkiller Base. So pretty good day. Our 6th place winner would be R2-D2, who spends the entire movie in hibernation and is finally given a reason to wake up at the end of the movie. It's obviously sad that he has had to be in low power mode and asleep for so long, but to, upon waking, be able to piece together the map to Luke Skywalker along with BB-8's help, and then to be able to join the team and head off to Ahch-To, where his old master is, well, that's another pretty good day. Especially for a droid who has been so loyal for so long to be rewarded in that way. Very cool. In 5th place is General Hux. Yes, General Hux. Oh, goodness. He has been, going catfighting with Kylo Ren, and it seems like Kylo is sort of the favored son at first, but certainly when things aren't going well with, the hunt for the girl and the hunt for Han Solo, he is like, the weapon is ready, let's go. And Snoke is like, yeah, go to it. And it's a success, so it is definitely shining very brightly on Hux, to be sure. Then Snoke says, hey, go rescue Kylo Ren. So not only that, he gets to rub Kylo Ren's face in the fact that he had to go rescue him. Ha ha ha. And I don't get the idea that a lot of people were actually able to evacuate Starkiller Base in time. So there's not going to be a lot of people left, if any, to be able to say, hey, that Hux just kind of bailed on us. So yeah, he's also doing very well as a result of the events of The Force Awakens. Moving on to our number 4 winner from the events of The Force Awakens, that would be C-3PO. All 3PO ever wants is to either A, exercise his protocol skills, or B, get worried about something. He does not get to do much with his protocol droid skills in this particular case, but he certainly does get to worry a heck of a lot. He gets to spend pretty much the entire 3rd act of the movie in a state of existential fear, which is kind of a default for him at this point. And so I think he's probably most comfortable in that way. And to boot, he gets R2-D2 back revived after a long absence, and that is a lovely and touching moment that they get to have together before he's gone again, and it puts 3PO back very likely into a state of, oh my goodness. So yeah, ultimately 3PO gets kind of exactly what he has been wishing for and hoping for out of his life, which is just the assumption that he's always going to be in danger, and, in the whole thoughts become things realm of the universe, well, that's exactly what he gets. In third place, and I know this might seem a little shocking, I have Rey in third place for the top 7 winners from the events of The Force Awakens. So Rey has had a very good stretch as far as these things go. She's no longer trapped on Jakku, but she kind of wanted to be trapped on Jakku because she spent that whole movie thinking that her parents were going to come back, that her family is going to come back, and when she was away, she was afraid that she was going to miss them coming back for her, and ultimately had to come to a reckoning, which was positive for her growth, certainly, but also a bit emotionally traumatic as well, and not necessarily in a good way, right? Not in the way that, say, for example, 3PO enjoys because he just kind of likes being in that space. No, she does not like being in that emotionally conflicted space, but she is able to address it and move through it and move on to something greater and more powerful, and is able to live it as she faces Kylo Ren. She is completely untrained and unexperienced, and yet she is able to reach deep inside of herself and realize that she has a power that could be even greater than what Kylo Ren is wielding against her. And she's able to find the sense of belonging in front of her that Maz Kanata talks about. So I have her in third on the top 7 winners of The Force Awakens for that. In second place, I have BB-8. BB-8 basically has a fantastic run of events in The Force Awakens. I mean, he thinks his master is dead. He is not. Isn't that great? He's able to complete the mission that is given to him by Poe, which is pretty much what any droid wants to do in theory, is complete the missions that they're given. He's responsible for getting Rey and Finn together. He is able to keep himself out of the clutches of the First Order when they're trapped on Takodana and the First Order is invading. He's reunited with his best buddy Poe Dameron and flies on a dangerous yet successful mission to destroy the bad guys. So BB-8, out of all the droids, certainly has the best possible outcome from the events of The Force Awakens. As far as the human characters, or the sentient characters, I guess I should say, the number 1 winner for me for The Force Awakens would be Han Solo. Now, I know there's a case for us to say, no, he doesn't come out as a winner out of all this, but think of this. Even though his day did not start off the way he was expecting it to, he managed to escape not only the Guavian Death Gang, not only Conja Club, but also the 3 Rathtars that he had captured with Chewie that were then subsequently let loose by Rey. He also got possession of the Millennium Falcon back. He was able to have a visit with his old pirate friend Maz Kanata. And then, this is where things get tough, certainly. He was reunited with his estranged wife, Leia Organa, which couldn't have been a comfortable situation, to be sure, but this is a guy who has been a scoundrel for a good chunk of his life. He tried to go the honest route, and we don't necessarily know all the details of how things went awry, but he went back to the scoundrel life, and you don't get the idea that this is where his heart really was. I mean, certainly what he knew best, as he said in The Force Awakens, but he was broken, and whatever happened with Kylo Ren and why things went south broke him. But in the end, he not only did what we love him for best, which is go on some ridiculous suicide mission and actually managed to pull it off, but he also faced his own demons and fears and confronted his son and was vulnerable, was a human, not just a scoundrel, and did what he could to reach his son one more time, and ultimately didn't die a scoundrel's death, he died a hero's death. And his last act, imperfectly, as an imperfect man having an imperfect life, was to do the best he could to let his son know how deeply he was loved, despite everything that happened before. So that's why I have Han Solo at the top of my winners list for The Force Awakens, even though it doesn't necessarily end happily ever after for him in this movie. And that is where we're going to leave things in this episode of the show. I just want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Audible and remind you that if you want to try out a Star Wars audiobook, or heck, any other audiobook, because you don't live by Star Wars alone, then you can get a free download and a free 30-day trial at sw7x7.com/audible. Again, sw7x7.com/audible. patreon.com/audible. And if you decide to continue with a subscription, well, then that gives us a little bit of commission to keep the lights on and the microphones running and all that good stuff. So please consider sw7x7.com/audible. And that is going to do it for the show today. Thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2020 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.